Earlier I installed this motor a few hours ago, and although it's a lot quieter than the other one was, which is because the bearings are going on that one, this one is making some sort of rhythmic harmonic sound, and I don't know if you can hear it, but it's like wah 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 wah. I'm not sure why it's doing that or what can be done to eliminate that sound. Infinity mic here. Last week I installed this new fan assembly, and when I first started the motor up, it was perfectly smooth and quiet, lit a fire, and then it started this harmonic sound. Could be something in the fan blade, or the fan blade assembly got warped somehow, or the bearing is no good already. I spoke to AHS, and they recommended I pull it off, take a look at it, and possibly change the bearing. So, being that this one's new, I should be able to get the fan off and the bearing out easier than the last two videos that I had failed attempts on the old unit. And I'll let you know how that works. Well, here we are again with the brand new fan motor assembly off. I have a 3/4 inch coupling on here. I have a bolt dropped in there because this is not long enough to reach down to the shaft, and because this thing is only a week old and hasn't seen a lot of heat, it's pulling off nicely. So as I tighten down on this, it's pulling up the assembly. The fan is off, and what has to happen next is this abrasion plate has to come off, which is bolted on from the bottom. Now you want to remove the abrasion plate and get to the insulation pad. Be careful with this, it's very brittle. I'll use two hands to get it off. And now that that's off, we'll expose these bolts that we'll pull off. Now that the motor is completely separate from all the mounting brackets and so on, I'll have to remove these 4 bolts to be able to pull out the shaft and expose the bearing. Alright, now that this is out, I put a pulley on here, and I guess just for ease I'll drop it in here to be able to tighten this up and pull that bearing off. Well, I pulled the bearing off, put a new bearing on, reassembled everything, and here it is running. I can still hear a bit of a harmonic sound, something out of balance. I don't know if you can hear it on the video, but it's slight. It's not as loud as it was the first time. But I don't think it's 100%. The original fan motor with a new bearing in the front and a new bearing in the rear, a new abrasion plate, new insulation pad, also a new end switch. Maybe you can hear on this video how smooth it's operating and not like the new assembly that I bought that has a harmonic sound to it. I was finally able to remove the fan bearing with a custom puller that I made, and I'll show you that in a second. This is what I've used to get the fan off. A 1-inch nut, 5/8 bolt, another nut welded on, and a wrench on the top, a wrench over here. pulled that thing right off. As you've seen in my other videos, I've had failed attempts to remove that fan blade, but once this piece went on, it pulled it right off. I put all this together, and I really believe this is operating the way it's supposed to, and the other one, there's something out of balance or something wrong with the unit.